The Nanda Dynasty of Magadha held a monopoly on wealth and power. This immense hoard of silver coins records their economic dominance. All this wealth flowed to King Dana Nanda, infamous for hoarding riches, taxing relentlessly, and extreme arrogance. The capital was a deeply stratified society. This ornate sculpture shows how the ruling class lived, wrapped in heavy luxury, insulated from their people. Their grip on the region's economy and military was so complete that no conventional army of the time dared to march against them. But unchallenged power creates a fatal blind spot. When a ruler commands a massive army, they often assume they can only be defeated by an even larger one, leaving them unprepared for smaller, quieter threats. That threat arrived in the form of a single, unarmed Brahmin scholar. According to the legend, he walked into the royal court, only to be publicly and brutally humiliated by the king in front of the assembly. The scholar didn't cower. In a symbolic act of defiance in the middle of the throne room, his traditional hair knot, the shika, came undone. He shouted a vow at the king. He swore he would never tie his hair again until the entire Nanda bloodline was ripped up by the roots. Folklore claims this vow acted as a supernatural curse, bringing the dynasty to a sudden end. But we have to ask, can a spoken curse and an untied lock of hair actually dismantle the strongest military on Earth? The truth is more grounded. This supernatural folklore serves as a cover story for a calculated, ruthless political intelligence operation. That insulted scholar was Chanakya, a man recognized today as a primary architect of ancient diplomacy and statecraft. He didn't rely on magic to fulfill his vow. He used cold, calculated political science. He pioneered a concept we now call asymmetric warfare. Instead of fighting directly, you exploit internal rot and let them collapse from within. Chanakya mapped the empire's political vulnerabilities and systematically fractured their structural support by targeting the economy and military loyalty. To execute this internal dismantling, Chanakya needed a specific type of weapon. He didn't need a standing army. He needed a proxy leader to control. He turned his back on the wealthy elite of the capital and went deep into the remote jungles to find uncorrupted potential. He understood an empire's vulnerability isn't its borders, but the marginalized people living on its fringes. Deep in that jungle, Chanakya found his asset, an orphaned boy named Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta was the perfect weapon. He had no noble loyalties. He was entirely moldable and invisible to the Nanda elites. Under Chanakya's secret instruction, the boy was systematically trained in espionage, guerrilla warfare, and psychological manipulation. While King Dana Nanda relied on inherited wealth and brute force, Chanakya countered with a meticulously engineered human weapon. Using networks of spies, targeted propaganda, and strategic alliances, Chanakya turned Nanda's own generals against him. The empire was dissolved from the inside out. It proved that when strategy is paired with a perfectly crafted proxy, even entrenched power can be dismantled without ever fighting a frontal war. The master plan culminated in the complete internal collapse of the Nanda dynasty. The ancient vow was fulfilled. With the empire in ruins, Chanakya finally, quietly, retied his shika. The destruction of the Nanda dynasty served a larger purpose. It was a calculated clearing of the board to build a new order. The orphan from the jungle, Chandragupta, was crowned the first emperor of the Mauryan dynasty. Looking at this map of the Indian subcontinent, we see the scale of what they built. They created Akhand Bharat, a unified state far larger than the Nanda Empire. Stretching from the northern mountains to the southern peninsula, this footprint redrew the ancient world. They left behind a unified civilization. Artifacts like this carved stone ring represent the sophisticated art and order that flourished under Mauryan rule. Today, we remember the myth of the untied hair, because it is a compelling story of revenge. But the historical lesson is that the destiny of the world is rarely shaped by the loud kings sitting on thrones, but by the quiet strategists standing in their shadows. For more investigations into the real stories behind history's greatest myths, subscribe to the channel.